Children's advocate joined call for a safe return of missing 6-month-old and her 14-year-old aunt. Children's advocate Diana Gardner-Harris has joined the call for the safe return of 6-month-old Demina Barnes and her 14-year-old aunt, Brianna Baker. Demiana of Logan Lane Linstead and Brianna of Lucky Valley Bogwalk in St. Catherine have been missing since last Tuesday, July 8. Reports from the Linstead police are that about 5 p.m., Brianna and Demina were last seen at a relative's home in Angel, Spanish Town. Mrs. Gardner-Harris is urging anyone with information as to the whereabouts of both children to share it with the authorities. Brianna is of dark complexion, thin built and about 160 centimeters tall, while Demina is of brown complexion and thin built. At the time she went missing, Brianna was wearing a long-sleeved Puma shirt and a pair of yellow and green slippers, while Demina was dressed in a pink blouse and with green leggings. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of both persons is being asked to contact the Linstead Police at 876-985-2680, the Police 119 emergency number or the nearest police station.
So, of course, whenever we hear of children going missing, it's particularly concerning. In this particular situation, we have aunt and me, in a situation where both of them are minors. And so as the Office of the Children's Advocate, we really join the call for all persons who may have even an inkling or an idea as to what has happened to share the information with the nearest police station. I can imagine, the anxiety that the family has with each moment that goes by that they have no information as to where their loved ones are. So I really am imploring persons with information, whether you have verified it or not, to just share what you know, because there could be a valuable clue that could assist the authorities in finding these two minors.
3 dead, 2 injured in Hanover crash. 3 people were killed and 2 others injured in a 2-vehicle crash along Norman Manley Boulevard in Hanover on Tuesday. The deceased have been identified as 65-year-old Colbert Hart of Cousins Cove, Hanover, 47-year-old Owen Jackson of Cardwell, Hanover, and 37-year-old Ricardo Baylis, a laborer of Horton, Green Island, Hanover. Reports from the Green Island Police are that around 5:50 p.m., a brown Toyota Hilux was traveling westward towards Negril when, upon reaching a section of the main road, the driver lost control of the vehicle. The police said the vehicle then veered off its path and collided with a green Toyota Corolla motor vehicle being driven by Jackson. The police were alerted to the scene, where Hart and Jackson were pronounced dead. Baylis and the other driver of the Hilux was transported to hospital, where Baylis died while undergoing treatment. The driver of the Hilux and the 4th occupant traveling in the Toyota Corolla were hospitalized. The investigation is ongoing. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says JUTC fleet now has more new than used buses. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC fleet now has more new buses in comparison to used buses. He was speaking at the handing over of 93 new buses to the JUTC in St. Catherine. 63 compressed natural gas and 30 diesel buses were handed over. Mr. Vaz said 7 additional buses are to arrive in August, which will cater to the special needs community. The minister noted that the handing over ceremony is a step towards building a transportation sector that works for all Jamaicans.
Last year, as you'll recall, many of you were here, we handed over 100 new buses under phase 1 of the 300 bus procurement. This is the single largest fleet expansion of the JUTC in over a decade. The rollout includes the first batch of 100 compressed natural gas buses, as I said, 10 of which were specially outfitted to serve members of the special needs community. As promised, they arrived in time for September 24 school term. In 2023, when I took responsibility for transport, a total of 70 new buses, including 45 diesel, 20 CNG, and 5 battery electric buses were purchased. Additionally, you can recall that of the fleet buses deployed by the JUTC, today, 71% of the total buses are new buses, which were obtained between 23 and 24. That simply means, Prime Minister, that we have more new buses in the JUTC fleet than used buses. And the reason for 93 and not 100 is the fact that there are 7 buses that are specially being manufactured for the special needs community. Those will arrive here in August. And as you know, the policy position of the government is that for all buses that we import, 10% have to be specially manufactured for the special needs community. Today is not just a handover ceremony. It's a milestone, a step forward in our national journey to deliver public transportation that works for all Jamaicans. We are not just adding buses, we are restoring trust, rebuilding systems, and reaffirming our duty to serve.
Courtroom evacuated after man brings Mashet and baton to hearing. A courtroom at the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court was evacuated on Tuesday after a man brought a bag containing a machete and a baton, which he claimed to be evidence from his hearing for an assault charge. The man, Richard Notice, 37, was before the court on a charge of assault occasioning actual bodily harm following an altercation involving a 15-year-old boy. The court heard that the incident stemmed from a community football match. The boy, after receiving a yellow card, began quarreling with other players. Notice claimed that he intervened to get the boy off the field, but the situation escalated and became physical. During the interaction, he reported to make explicit remarks to the boy, which he returned. The boy then ran off, reportedly shouting at Notice to stay right there. Senior Parish Judge Burrell remarked that many cases before the court stem from people not knowing when to hold their tongue. Everybody in Jamaica knows those are fighting words, she said, referring to the curse word used by Notice. The complainant's mother told the court that this was not the first time Notice had behaved inappropriately, but said many in the community were too afraid to report him. In his defense, Notice claimed that the boy had returned with a cutlass and a baton. He then pointed to a grey cross bag he brought into the courtroom. Justice Burrell asked if he had brought the weapons into the court. Notice responded that he had, saying they were evidence. An officer then retrieved the bag, taking it to the judge, who questioned who gave Notice permission to bring a weapon inside the court. Notice informed the judge that he had told an officer it was evidence and was allowed entry. Justice Burrell opened the bag, examined the content, and then sanitized her hands. She expressed concern, especially given that lawyers often sit with their backs to the prisoner's dock. Burrell then stood the matter down and left the courtroom. The room was filled with murmurs, questioning how such an incident could happen. Shortly after, a female officer entered and instructed everyone to evacuate. A sweep of the courtroom was conducted, and within minutes, the room was filled again. When the judge returned, she addressed Notice, stating that while what he did was not permitted, he understood that he may not have known the rules. In regard to the matter before the court, the judge urged both parties to consider restorative justice, noting that community members must learn to live together peacefully. She emphasized that adults cannot discipline children unless it is sanctioned by the parent. The matter was referred to restorative justice, with both parties scheduled to return to court on November 6. As Notice exited, the judge lightly asked, "Is the bag empty now?" "Yes, Your Honor," he replied. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.